How's it going, everyone? My name is Matt Layton and welcome back to another real estate video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a tour of the Dominion Hills neighborhood in West Arlington. We'll take a look at the neighborhood amenities, talk about the real estate, and of course give you the top 3 things that you need to know about living in Dominion Hills. Let's get started with the location. Dominion Hills is located north of Wilson Boulevard, west of 4 Mile Run, south of I-66, and east of North McKinley Road and North Ohio Street. The history of Dominion Hills dates back all the way to the 1600s when Native Americans used to roam the land. Fast forward to the Civil War, and the area saw both Confederate and Union troop activity. That being said, Dominion Hills remained mostly farmland up until the early 1940s, as that's when most of the development took place. Between 1945 and 1955, about 400 homes were built. Presently, there are approximately 600 households in Dominion Hills. We'll get back to the houses here in a minute, but I do want to touch on the park and trail access. Dominion Hills has some of the easiest access points to trails in all of Arlington. You can easily get on to the Washington and Old Dominion Trail, as well as the Custis Trail right from the neighborhood. The WNOD Trail takes you through Bon Air Park and Bluemont on your way to Shirlington, while the Custis Trail will get you right over to Ballston in about 1.5 miles. At this location, we also have Dominion Hills Park, which is a nice park that has a large open field as well as a playground. Just outside Dominion Hills, you do have a few notable outdoor recreation activities. The first is the Dominion Hills Recreation Association, which includes the outdoor pool. Now, this is a fantastic amenity for its members, and some houses in Dominion Hills even convey a pool pass, as there is a waiting list. So if you are interested in buying a house in Dominion Hills, see if there's a pool pass that's included with the sale of the property. Another area amenity is the Powhatan Springs Skate Park. This park is absolutely packed on weekends and after school. And Casey, apparently it's packed on Mondays at 2 p.m. I thought these kids are all virtually learning. Maybe they're learning Intro to Skateboarding 101. Next to the skate park is a soccer field that gets a ton of usage year-round. Across the street from the skate park, we have the Dominion Hills Center. Now, this is the only commercial portion of the Dominion Hills neighborhood. There are a handful of shops here. I wouldn't say that you can get everything, but you have great shops like a pharmacy, barber shop, nail salon, more importantly, a pet salon, and my personal favorite, soccer kicks. You know, back in the day, I loved soccer kicks. I'd get all my gear there, and they used to have this point system that was really dangerous. Spend $100, get 100 points. Whoever has the most points wins free soccer gear. I got some new cleats, some new goalie gloves. You know, when you're the younger brother, oftentimes you end up being the goalie for different sports. So soccer kicks, definitely a favorite for 10-year-old Matt. There was one infamous event in history that occurred right in this parking lot. In 1967, the founder of the American Nazi Party, George Lincoln Rockwell, was doing his laundry here, went out to the car to get some bleach, and was shot and killed from the rooftop by a former member. That former member was actually using a pistol. It was a pretty good shot, if you ask me. George Lincoln Rockwell lived up the street, and it's so interesting to think that this area has seen an insane amount of diversity between Native Americans, Union soldiers, Confederate soldiers, and now American Nazi Party members. And as bad as it is to say, in 2017, on the 50th anniversary of George Lincoln Rockwell's death, American Nazi Party members came right here to commemorate his death. Absolutely terrible, but certainly an interesting history here in Dominion Hills. One other notable park is Upton Hill Regional Park. This park has batting cages, a mini golf course, a water park, and coming soon, a ropes course. The regional park attracts people from all across the area, and it's a great way to spend an afternoon or spend the entire day on the weekend. Okay, so let's get into the real estate in Dominion Hills, and the name of the game is single family houses, specifically colonials, ramblers, and split level houses. And don't be surprised if you see the same floor plan pop up at a couple different houses. It's mostly colonials. That being said, there are about 20 houses that sell per year in Dominion Hills. Now, it's super interesting to take a look at the historical data of the average sales price. In 2018, we saw the average sales price of $805,000, jumped up to $820,000 in 2019, and then it shot all the way up to $872,000 in 2020. Now in 2021, it increased $100,000 to $971,000. Now, I will throw a caveat in there because in 2021, there have only been 12 properties that have sold, so that average of $971,000 will go down, but it just goes to show you how fast prices are increasing in Dominion Hills. One stat that we need to take a look at is the $1 million mark, because according to the Bright MLS, the first house in the neighborhood to sell for over $1 million sold in 2016. Now in 2021, 5 months into the year, we've seen 3 houses sell for over $1 million, including one house that sold for over $1.5 million. That being said, you can still find great homes in the neighborhood for under $850,000. However, we are starting to see that $1 million mark being eclipsed more often. All right, with that being said, let's take a look at the top 3 things that you need to know about Dominion Hills. Number 1 is affordability, guys. Now, we just talked about it. Single family homes in Arlington County, it seems like the price to buy into a neighborhood is always moving, and it seems like it's always going up. For Dominion Hills, to buy into the neighborhood, it's in the upper $700,000s to the low $800,000 range. So then the question is, why? Why is it so low compared to other neighborhoods? Well, when we compare it to Cherrydale or Westover or Terra, those neighborhoods are just a little more walkable compared to Dominion Hills, so they tend to get the higher price points. Additionally, you have more teardowns in Cherrydale, Westover, and those types of neighborhoods, and we don't see as much new construction in Dominion Hills. So whereas it would be a teardown in another neighborhood, it would be a perfectly livable house in Dominion Hills, albeit a little bit small, so we do see a lot of additions at Dominion Hills. Number 2 is the Febrey Lothrop house. This house on the corner of Wilson Boulevard and McKinley has had a storied history, and there have been some recent developments in the fact that it was just sold to a private developer, and the 9.5-acre plot of land is going to be redeveloped as single family houses. So it's certainly going to be cool to watch as the development happens, how that's going to change the neighborhood, how it's going to change the inventory. Now, personally, I was kind of hoping for Arlington County to buy the plot of land, buy the 9.5 acres, and turn it into a high school or use it for some other county facility. But adding additional housing inventory is not a bad second place. So be sure next time you're driving along Wilson Boulevard to look to your left or right and check out how the development is coming along. And the third thing you need to know about living in Dominion Hills is the accessibility. You have easy access to Wilson Boulevard, Washington Boulevard, and even I-66, not to mention the trails that border the neighborhood. So even though you're not walking distance to the metro, it's not like you're in no man's land either. You have great area amenities nearby. Well, guys, that is Dominion Hills in a nutshell. I hope you liked this video. If you learned anything, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, create a productive day. Take care.